The Chief Justice of Nigeria has summoned the Chief Judges of the Federal High Court and the State High Court in Kano over conflicting orders issued by both courts in the state concerning the Emirates saga. In a statement, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Okutepa, said he would meet the judges in his chambers on Thursday, May 30. The meeting comes as a prelude to an investigation by the National Judicial Council on the conflicting orders since Ado Bayero was deposed as Emir of Kano and Lamido Sanusi was reinstated.
The Nigerian Bar Association has also called for severe actions against lawyers and judges involved in the issuance of opposing conflicting orders. Well, the association said that the actions have brought disgrace and shame to the profession. The NBA president, Yakubu Mekiao, vowed to drag any lawyer found culpable in the matter before the Legal Practitioners Disciplinary Committee for appropriate sanctions. Right.
Well, let's bring in the Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Jibrin Okutepa, and thank you for your time and patience to see that we have this conversation in this hour. You know, with a smile on your face, I read the release by the NBA president, Yakubu Mekiao, and we have also gauged some other lawyers. Some are really dissatisfied and sad that your profession seemed to have been brought to question in a bad light. But for some people like yourself, perhaps let's start to ask your views on what we have termed, Nigerians have termed, conflicting orders from Kano State.
Well, thank you, Solomon and Ngozi, for this opportunity. I think it's not the first time we were having this kind of thing in our judicial system. I recall that there were conflicting orders of injunctions flying here and there, including people leaving some parts of states in the southeast to go to the north to get favorable orders. Some get this order at odd hours at a time that appears to be non-juridical period. The former Chief Justice of Nigeria, Honorable Justice I.T. Mohammed, had a question to issue a warning. And I think that the challenge we have, that this keeps on persistently and almost irredeemably, uncontrollably, is because, like one of my learned friends put, controversy in Nigeria has a lifespan of just 15 days. After the next 15 days now, all these labalo and all of these will die down because there are no consequences for misbehavior in this country. That's why in the tweet I issued today, and I call on the leadership of the legal profession to act now before it is too late. And you, before you agitated to ask this question, very many of you no longer have respect for us, because the legal profession that I grew up to meet was a profession of discipline, profession of rules and regulations. And there are precedents that have been set as far back as 1989. You have authorities of Tuku versus government of Gongola State, where the Supreme Court has set out the parameters of who can do what in a chieftaincy matter. You also have cases like Saraki and Kotoye that deals with the question of when you can issue what you call ex parte order of injunction. So, but today, you, like I said in the morning before the Honorable the Chief Justice of Nigeria and my president made this statement, we are getting to a calamitous end in the legal profession. And it appears that the big masquerade, which is the nobility of the profession, is dancing very naked in the marketplaces. And the hour of the profession is almost gone and for bad. So I am happy that the Honorable the Chief Justice of Nigeria has summoned those he's supposed to summon. I'm also happy that the President of the Nigerian Bar Association has also issued a statement. But that is it shouldn't end that way.
Exactly, and that's where I would want to come in. In spite of the precedents that you've just reeled out, this persists. Now, the CJN has summoned them. The meeting will be tomorrow. The NJC2 has weighed in, and the Nigerian Bar Association. What are the measures that need to be taken for this really to, you know,
we are too slow. We are
this?
too slow and too lenient.
Too lenient
In punishment, in sanctions. You will discover that I just don't know what to say. But I'm sorry that the profession that I love, the attitude, decisions, some things have rendered and brought the profession to what I refer to as total obloquy, total ridicule, total, disdain. Today, in those days when a judicial officer is moving around, you give a gap. When lawyers are coming, you give a gap. So all of these things are product of a process that brought us to this level.
How
Senior
do you
Advocate, let me come in here. Sorry,
Yeah.
Ngozi. Senior Advocate Okutepa, we've had conversations with you before, and this is the first time I'm seeing this by your body language. I can almost cut your pain, and I see it. But it's not all gloom and doom. So perhaps now that the matter is before the NJC, so to speak, what more do we do you think your profession can do to have that? Because it just might not stop here.
See, our capacity to tolerate intolerable misbehavior on a primordial partisan or tribal or connectivity's interest has brought us to where we are. For instance, in where we get borrow this profession from, the law profession, the legal profession is profession of light. And where we have set rules, we have regulations. Once there is appearance of impropriety, it shouldn't be tolerated. But today, not only do we permit and allow impropriety to thrive, but we have condoned it on the altar of legality. Mark you, morality and legalities are not the same. And as priests in the temple of justice, our conduct ought to be a reflection of purity. But because we have condoned so many impurity in the classroom of legality, even those who are not worthy to be in the profession are still in the profession. So we must look at our punishment and give it maximally. Right. We are not punishing the way it should be punished. Because when I had the privilege to prosecute for the bar, there are so many things I saw as chief prosecutor of the bar, Nigerian Bar Association, for 5.5 years. We all this complaint-based system will not help us. Now you expect somebody now who will wake up and say, oh, for the lawyers who filed the process. Because for me, before we blame the judges, who were the lawyers that filed the processes in these courts? Right. Who filed the process before the Federal High Court? Who filed before the State High Court? What was the nature of the extremity of urgency that necessitated the filing of the process? So, in advanced country like UK, US, when you file a process that are outrightly frivolous, or a process that has capacity to block access to justice, or conducting a proceeding that blocks attainment of justice, or pull a wood on the judex, you are gone for it. Then come to the judex. It appears to me today that the judiciary entertain all manner of cases that are filed. In those days, a case can end without even a trial, because their lordships would have read, look at this matter vis-a-vis the law. Does the law give me opportunity to hear it? Have you ever heard any judge inviting any lawyer to say, come and address me, whether I have jurisdiction. It's very rare.
So is this part of how the ways to redeem the judiciary?
The way to redeem the judiciary, yes. Because there's no time. First, we must go back to the root of recruitment. When you have a man or a woman who begs to be made a judge, possibility exists for favor. After all, it was the great Abiola that said that the hands of the giver is always on top. In those days, nobody lobbied to be made a judge. And you saw judicial officers of impeccable character who know their onions, their integrity personified, they are comported they have comportment, they have the courage, they have the charisma, they know the law. You can't pull wood over their heads. But go to some law offices and see some new and even not too new lawyers and see whether they have stamina to even appreciate the law. And then when such persons are managed and put on the bench in the manner let my people go kind of, what do you expect? Nemodako no habit. You can't give that which you do not have. So the thing is much, much deeper than we are seeing. And I had advocated today that there is be a meeting of the leadership of the profession. And when I say this, the National Judicial Council, the Nigerian Bar Association, the Body of Senior Advocates of Nigeria, the Body of Benchers, we should lock ourselves in the room and agree that all is not well with the legal profession. Right. What you are seeing are just a tip of the iceberg. There are deeper problems that we need to solve, and we must solve it before Nigeria begin to see us on the road.
People like you are talking
and thinking that the problems of Nigeria is the lawyers and the legal practitioners.
Jibrin Okutepa, we have to say thank you very much, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. It's been a delight having you on Newsnight.